Hi guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Unit 3.4 Notes, Day 3. Today we're continuing our discussion on graphing absolute value functions. Our learning target today is to be able to graph absolute value functions. So let's recall from Chapter 1. Dun 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 dun. Oh, we got to remember stuff from Chapter 1? Yes you do. Okay. So determine the average rate of change over the intervals of x values. So just remember that these are x values that we're talking about. So when x is 0, which would be right there, and 1, what is our average rate of change? Well, what's our slope from those 2 points? Well, I went down 1 and then I went right 1. So my average rate of change would be -1/1 or -1, however you want to write it. Okay, so guess what? We're going to do it again. Okay, so now over the points 1 to 2. What's going on with that slope? The average rate of change between those 2 points? Well, we went down 1, 2, 3, 4. So we went down 4 and then we went to the right 1, which is -4/1 or -4. Okay, so all we're practicing right now is finding the average rate of change, -2 to 0, between the intervals, the x values that they're asking for. So we went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I went up 5, and then to the right, 2. So 5/2. And now between the points, 0 and 2. So we're going down 1, down 2, 3, 4, 5. I went down 5, and this time I went to the right 2. And that one doesn't reduce, -5/2. All right, so now the absolute value function. 2, absolute value of x plus 1 minus 3. So we've been talking about how that our, I'm sorry, mind blank. Our vertex is -1, -3, which means we went left 1, down 3. And then this guy is our, yeah, that's our slope. How it's saying going up 2/1, up 2/1. And then the other way we're going down 2/1, down 2/1. So that's how we graph it. But now we're just looking over that interval to see the x values, okay? So at -3, so when x is -3 and -2, what's our average rate of change? Well, between those 2 points, I had to go down 2 to the right 1. So -2/1 or -2. Okay, -1, so when x is -1 and 0, our average rate of change, we go up 2 to the right 1. So from there, it's 2/1 or 2. When x is -3 and when x is -1, I have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. I went down 4 and to the right 2. So going down 4 to the right 2, well, that reduces to -2/1 or -2. Oh my gosh, no matter where we're going, it looks like it's the exact same. Okay, what about from -1? I'm sorry, that's not -1. There's -1, -1 to 1. our average rate of change. I went up 1, 2, 3, 4. So we go to the up 4, to the right 2. Well, 4 over 2, that's 2 over 1, or it's a positive 2. Okay, so one thing you notice that our average rate of change is always that number that's up top with the absolute values. Okay, so identify the average rate of change for the given x intervals, then determine the intervals for which the function is decreasing or increasing. So the key thing to remember is that all of these are the x values. Okay, those are always, always, always our x values. So example number 1, we've got 1 and 3. So when x is 1 and when x is 3. So what's my average rate of change? Well, I have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. I go up 4, and then we go to the right 2. So what that means is 4 over 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1, or 2. And then for B, we'll do B in pink, there's 4 and 5. So between those 2 points, we're going down 2 and to the right 1. So that would be negative 2 over 1 or negative 2. Okay? And we're not done yet. Okay? Because the next part is asking us, let me zoom out a little bit, the function is decreasing over the intervals. So where does our graph start decreasing or going down? Well, it starts decreasing at 3. Okay? So when x is 3, it starts decreasing all the way to positive infinity. Okay, that's that interval notation that we were just talking about. So that's when our graph is decreasing and our graph is increasing from negative infinity to 3. So that's, excuse me, that's describing what's going on. Okay? All right, let's look at our next example from negative 6 to negative 4 and 0 to 4. All right, so from negative 6 to negative 4, what's going on with our graph? Well, we are going down 1 to the right 2. So that interval, our average rate of change between those two x values is negative 1/2. Okay, but what about from 0 to 4? Well, between 0 to 4, we had to go up to 1, 2, 3, 4 over 4. So that would be 2 over 4, which reduces to 1/2. Okay, so where is this graph decreasing? Okay, decreasing. Well, it's going down from negative infinity, and then it stops right here at negative 2. So we would say from negative infinity to negative 2, and then it starts increasing from negative 2 to positive, I'm sorry, from negative 2, maybe I did say that right, to positive infinity. All right, let's look at this last one. So we have the x values. Remember, these are x values, okay? I know I haven't been writing that, but we should be knowing that these are our x values. They're not points. So from negative 3 to negative 2, what's going on? Well, I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So I went up 4 over 1. So that's 4 over 1 or 4. And then we have from -1 to 0, which is right there. And from here, we're going down 1, 2, 3, 4. We went down 4 and then to the right 1. So that's -4 over 1 or -4. Okay, so where is our graph, this function, where is it decreasing? Well, it starts decreasing at -2. See how at -2 it just starts going down? So at -2 it starts decreasing to positive infinity, and then from -infinity to 2 it's going up. So from -infinity to -2. Okay, so to determine that, whether it is decreasing or if it's increasing, all we're doing is just looking at the graph and seeing where is it going up and where is it going down. All right, go ahead and flip it over. So now we have to graph each function by finding the vertex first, then identify the specific characteristics. Okay, so we're kind of throwing all of that together. So finding the vertex, remember that we take the opposite, so it's going to be a +3, and our outside number stays the same, so that's 0. So at 3, 0 is our vertex, and remember that the number out front tells us that there's going to be a reflection, so our graph's going to be going down. There's no number out front, so that's just going to be 1 over 1, okay? So at 3, 0 is where I start our graph, and I'm going down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. And then I'm going to use my straight edge to graph it. I'm taking it out of my desk right now. So there we go. Making sure this is nice and straight up. All right, so I want to know, where is it decreasing and where is it increasing? So decreasing first, that's where it's going down, and I can see, boom, that's where it starts to going down, and that's at 3. So we are decreasing at 3 to positive infinity, and then we are increasing from negative infinity to 3. So from negative infinity to 3. Okay, and now from 0 to 1, okay, so from those specific x values, okay, there's 0 and there's 1. What's going on? Well, our average rate of change is I went up 1 over 1. So 1 over 1 or just 1. Okay, our next one. Is there a reflection? No, so our graph is going to be going up. We're going to be following that up 1 over 3, and then our vertex, we would take the opposite of what's inside. Well, it's just 0, and then that 1 stays the same. So this is telling me that there's no horizontal shift. I'm just going up 1. Okay, so on our graph, at 0, 1, there we go, and I go up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3, and I need to do that in both directions. Okay, so from there I'm going to graph, So where are we decreasing and where are we increasing? Okay, so decreasing and increasing. Well, we are decreasing from negative infinity to 0, and we're increasing from 0 to infinity. Okay? So remember, all we do is look at the graph and see what the graph tells us. So from negative infinity to 0, and then from 0 to infinity. So what is the average rate of change between 0 and 3? Well, here's 0. There's 3. We had to go up 1 and over 3. Okay? So it's 1 over 3. Okay. Number 3. Let's set it up together. So it's positive, which means there's no reflection. Remember that 2 is our rate of change, which is telling us to go up 2 over 1. Then we take the opposite of 1, which is negative 1, and the negative 4 stays the same. Okay, so we'll graph it together, and then you guys see if you can answer the questions. Okay? So at negative 1, negative 4, so negative 1, negative 4, and it's saying 2 over 1, 2 over 1 in both directions. Okay? So I'm drawing my graph right now. There we go. And go ahead and pause the video to tell us where the interval is decreasing and increasing. Good luck. Okay, so from negative infinity to negative 1, it was decreasing, increasing from negative 1 to positive infinity, and then from negative 2 to negative 1, you can see my 2 pink points. That average rate of change is negative 2. Okay, oh, we still got a couple more. So number 4, let's just see if you can graph it. Okay, pause the video and good luck. So some of you might have already started graphing, but I just kind of wrote everything down. We start at negative 2, 7, and we're going down 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 4. Down 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, both directions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And use that straight edge to make sure your lines are nice and straight. Oh, hold on. Come on, Mr. Grice, let's get this right. Okay. So I just know these questions right now, so I'm not even looking. I want to know where is it decreasing and where are we increasing. So we are decreasing at negative 2 to positive infinity, and then we're increasing from positive infinity, I'm sorry, from negative infinity to negative 2. Okay? And then looking at the points, negative 10 to negative 2, what's going on? Well, we're going up 2 and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that was 2 over 8, which reduces to 1/4. And it shows that we're going up. We're increasing between those values. All right, number 5. Let's see how you can do. Go ahead and pause the video. Good luck. Okay, so there's my function for 5. Our vertex was 4, 9. We were going down 5 over 1. Excuse me. From 4 to infinity, we were going down. We were decreasing from negative infinity to 4. It's going up. And then if you check from the x values they talked about, 4, 5, we were going down 5 over 1. Okay? And number 6, you are all on your own. Go ahead and pause the video and good luck. Okay, so there are all my answers. Now the hard thing for number 6 was the average rate of change from 4 to infinity. Well, how do I know that? I don't know where the point infinity is. Well, that's where we're kind of being tricky. That average rate of change is the number that's out in front of the absolute value. Okay? All right, guys. Well, this is Mr. Grice signing off for Algebra 2, Unit 3.4 Notes, Day 3. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off. Thanks for watching.